Birthdays had never meant much in my family. They were acknowledged, photographed, and quickly forgotten. I had grown used to polite smiles that disappeared the moment someone more interesting entered the room. Grandma was different. She remembered little details: my favorite tea, the books I borrowed, the names of employees I'd met while helping her during summers. She never mistook attention for love. To her, love looked like showing up consistently. On my 28th birthday, she invited only a handful of relatives to the hotel's private dining room. I assumed it was lunch. Instead, after dessert, she slid a thick envelope across the table. "I think it's time," she said simply. Inside were legal documents: the hotel, every share, every operating right, every signature transferring ownership to me. The valuation attached to the paperwork read $95 million. I looked at her, convinced I had misunderstood. "You've spent years learning how this place works," she said quietly. "You listened more than you talked. That's rarer than intelligence." The room fell silent, then my mother's chair scraped backward. Her surprise lasted only a few seconds before calculation replaced it. Her new husband leaned toward her, whispering something I couldn't hear. When she looked back at me, she smiled, not warmly, strategically. "Well," she said, "that's wonderful for the family." I didn't answer. An attorney standing near the window calmly explained that Grandma had completed every legal requirement months earlier. The transfer would become effective immediately after the final signatures already scheduled for today. Everyone nodded politely. I thought the conversation was over. It wasn't. Later that afternoon, after most guests had wandered into the courtyard, my mother found me overlooking the lobby. "You'll sign the deed over," she said. I blinked. "I'm sorry?" "To the family. The hotel already belongs to the family," I replied. "Grandma chose me to manage it." "No," she corrected. "It belongs to you. That's the problem." Her husband folded his arms. "We'll establish a family holding company," he said. "It's the sensible thing." "I don't want one." They exchanged a glance that felt rehearsed. My mother's voice hardened. "So you're choosing yourself over your family?" "I don't think protecting something Grandma entrusted to me is selfish." She sighed dramatically. I knew this would happen. There it was, not disappointment, ownership. As though my answer had interrupted a future she'd already planned, she stepped closer. "If you refuse, don't expect to be welcome anymore." I stayed quiet. "You hear me," she continued. "Consider yourself disowned." The words landed more softly than she intended. Perhaps because they echoed older conversations I'd spent years surviving. Then came the final sentence. "And homeless." For the first time, I almost laughed. Not because it was funny, because the threat didn't fit reality. Before I could respond, another voice interrupted, a gentle chuckle. Grandma. She had entered so quietly that none of us noticed. "I wondered how long it would take," she said. My mother's expression changed instantly. "Mom, we're only discussing what's best." "I know exactly what you're discussing." She looked toward the attorney. "Would you join us?" He walked over carrying another leather folder. Grandma folded her hands. "I've managed hotels for 40 years, she said. "Do you really believe I transferred one without anticipating this conversation?" The attorney opened the folder. "There is an additional estate package," he explained. He handed me another set of documents. Inside were deeds to a townhouse near the hotel, an investment portfolio established years earlier, and governance rules, placing the hotel under an independent professional board for major structural decisions, while leaving operational leadership with me. The ownership could not simply be signed away without multiple legal safeguards and review periods. Grandma smiled. "I wanted you protected from pressure, whether it came from competitors or relatives." Nobody spoke. The silence felt different now, not tense, certain. My mother stared at the papers. "So you planned for us?" Grandma answered without anger. "I planned for human nature." No one argued with her. There wasn't much left to say. The conversation had shifted from emotion to fact. Threats no longer carried weight against signed documents and independent oversight. My mother looked at me, perhaps expecting triumph. Instead, I felt something quieter, relief, not because I had won, because I no longer had to negotiate for permission to protect what mattered. As guests slowly returned inside, the birthday resumed in awkward fragments. Some conversations never recovered, neither did every relationship. When I left that evening, I paused in front of the hotel's entrance. The building looked exactly as it had that morning, only I had changed. Grandma walked beside me. "You know," she said, "people think inheritance is about money." I looked at her. "It isn't?" She smiled. "No. The real inheritance is learning that love never demands you surrender yourself to prove it." For the first time in years, I believed her.